Now, first we need to recognize, and probably this one aspect this gives us strength, that Muslims were in America from the beginning of time. I mean beginning of time of America, because America was isolated. From the time America became America, well, the world became conscious of this continent, there was Muslims. And now new research is showing that since 1100, since year 11, like 1100, there was Muslims in America. Okay. And now there was some archaeology work is discovering what? Is discovering the remains of Muslims. Now, some linguists finding Arabic words in the Indian native language. Okay. In the records of and the memoir of Christopher Columbus, he said, we reached America, and he described what he saw. Okay? And you read the description of the clothing of the women, and it is the description of women clothing covered, and it is a West Africa Moroccan style. Okay. And in the record of the Vatican, and I don't mean to mention any entity negatively, but part of the historical record, there was a recommendation of what to do with those Mohammedans, as they were used to be called. Okay, what to do with them when these expeditions from Europe comes to the United States, and if you find Mohammedans, this is what you do with them. And you can imagine, I will not say it, okay? It's not something nice, okay? Okay. Something that even can deny the person to be buried. There's nothing of you to be buried. Okay? So, what I'm hinting here, you need to recognize that we have been always here. Okay? We have been always here. Okay. So our very, very existence, we were individuals, families, and they were gone because of the circumstances. And then we have a more conscious beginning, and that's the conscious beginnings of African Americans. And this, if you trace, there was always a society here, a society here, a society here. Although we acknowledge that the content, the Islamic content, was very shallow. Like they were after slavery. It's very hard to maintain your not only your identity, but in slavery you cannot read or write, right? It is prohibited on you to be taught how to read or write. So how can you preserve your Quran and your Hadith, etc.? So the circumstances didn't allow Islam to prosper early in the United States, and it is until now. We go back to the 50s and actually to the 60s until for many reasons, okay, African Americans started to develop an Islamic identity, although it was a nationalistic identity. It was a racialist identity, not racist, racialist, like race-centered. And it is understandable. If you are oppressed because of your race, of course you will have so much race consciousness. That's normal. Okay? But it was what? It was the thread that African Americans, or some of them, started catching to reach Islam and to make the trip to Islam. And after that few years, or along probably the same years, okay, like few years, it doesn't matter in history, there was another current, okay? It's like these currents that finally formed this nice river that we say the Muslim community in the United States. And those were the immigrants. Those were people like me and people before me, okay? And those people were, the irony is, like some of them coming for the, for better opportunities, okay? Some of them coming for what? For knowledge, to be educated, to get their degrees, and some of them even like kind of avoiding persecution, political persecution, all kind of these things mixed together. Because immigration, there's no clear, clear conscious decision to immigrate. It's not like you put a pencil and paper. Let me, okay, see if I immigrate, I do the, like, it's not a really calculation, okay? It's like immigration comes to you, like there's kind of, you are sucked to immigrate, rather you are, okay, you did a very conscious decision. And probably it didn't take more than a letter from your friend that who cared, or relative who cared. Oh, come here, okay, yeah, come study. I'll obtain for you a visa, or like, yeah, what's it called? I-20. This is that's the thing to come to the I-20. Okay, student visa. Okay. So people came here and they thought what? They thought that this is a passing experience. Most of those who came thought that they were going back in a few years. Okay. But as we say, Allah has its plans, and there's other things. So here's where the two small streams form this river. Okay. Now we were talking that, again, going back in the few years back when we said there was one Islamic center where there was a single, probably one like Muslim in your university or in your classroom, in your high school, etc. It was hard. But look, it was harder even if you actually, when there was lynching. When there was lynching, it was much harder to be a Muslim, wasn't it? Look, you can lose your life. Okay, not normally, actually, not a nice, decent death. Okay, you will be like death with what? With pain. Okay. So, yeah.
Say that again. Sorry. What did you say?
Lynching. Okay, you will be lynched, and you might be you might die from the effect.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am saying here because look, one way of there's the hadith. Always look at those who are below you, not below people above you. Okay. So always when you think of the calamities and the difficulties of others, you say, "Wow, I am way in." Like there's always life is difficult. This is how it's created. Okay. But when you look to other difficulties, you find yourself, "Oh, it's a blessing. It's much easier. It's doable." Okay, so I am trying to give this kind of historical references, flashlights, just to compare that whatever you are facing of difficulties, and I do not deny these difficulties, okay, and I do not belittle these difficulties, okay, but look, other people faced also difficulties. Of course, sometimes sneaky difficulties are more more dangerous than the challenge that's in your face. The challenge you face, either you run and you are defeated, okay, or you become stronger and you face the challenge. But the sneaky, and that's what you need to watch for, is the sneaky challenge. Okay, it's the sneaky challenge that lets you okay, it's like the moving sand, or what we call it. You drown and you do not feel you are drowning until it's too late. You cannot take your breath, and that's at the time it's too late at that time. Now, so again, I am mentioning these historical flashlights to appreciate that, okay, now, there were people before us that, what, paved the road for us. There were people before us that established an institution for us. Okay? And they struggle, and each person, and each generation, and each group, and each cohort has their own kind of struggle and all kind of challenges. Okay? And if we do not be truthful and faithful to the contributions of those before us, we will be asked by Allah about those things. Well, look, the generation before you built that and that and that. What did you do? And now, imagine, okay, somebody mentioned Malcolm X. Imagine that Malcolm X continued his drug life. Islam would be different in America today. Because the impact of Malcolm X is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And by the way, the nice thing, Malcolm X was kind of radical, right? When did he become moderate? When he embraced Islam, when he went to the house. Okay? So again, Islam brings you to moderation, not to radicalism. Okay? Makes you more sane. Because now in Islam you recognize the humanity of others. You cleanse your heart from hate, even from those who disagree with you. You recognize that probably the problem is not, they are not seeing, and your job is to help them see, is not to force them. Okay. So now I said the argument so far. Okay. We endure some difficulties, and that's normal, because that's the nature of life. Can you bring me an eye on that? It is in the last in Juzu Amma, in the last. What was the question? Life is difficult, and this is the nature of life, and this is the nature of human life. Good try. Good try. Okay. The ayah says, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We have created insan, human beings, in kabad. Kabad means difficulties. Okay. Period. This is period. This is the nature of things. Okay. And the most illogical thing is to deny the existence of what is existing. Oh, this is not a table. No, it's not a table. No. Okay. If I see that, okay, I cannot walk, I cannot trip. See, I was almost going to trip, okay, because I didn't recognize that this is a slippery surface, okay? And this is the reality, okay? If there is a reality, you better know the reality. I didn't think, see, I miscalculated the slipperiness of, okay, whatever, the friction of okay, the friction factor, okay? So this is, okay, so do not imagine that life is not difficult, because it is the wrong kind of, the wrong mental attitude. Okay. The wrong attitude. But the nice thing is that if you have the right mental attitude, and if you can pass this difficulty, the time of difficulty, there is another place where also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that there is no difficulty. And this is called Jannah, the paradise, the hereafter. Well, of course, there are two choices. There's hellfire, but okay. Yeah, but there is, okay, and there's always all the description in the Quran that says what when it describes the Jannah. it describes it as something really there's no word that captures the feeling, okay? But many ayats, one ayat that لا لغوا فيها ولا تأثيم. Even laghu is kind of the empty talk. Laghu is the kind of argument and give and take that kind of make you sick. Okay, even this little thing that irritates you, it is not there. Okay, and you have like in the hadith, if you want something, you have to imagine it, and it's pops in front of you. Of course, these are all images. We don't know what the Jannah is, because it is not the same materialistic setting that's here, but the Quran tries to give us like approximation of our life. It seems that there was a question, I don't want to miss it. Yes? Thank you very much. This is the point where I want to like kind of close this idea and jump to the other idea. So look, the generations before you had kind of 3-4 goals. Okay, goals. The first, I came here, established Islamic centers. Okay, we established Islamic centers, and then okay, those young people got married and got children. Okay, we need schools, and we have the schools, whether it's weekend school or full-time schools. Okay, alhamdulillah. Then we found we need some service organizations, so we had our care, our impact, and other many smaller organizations, IBS, Islamic Book Service, or all kind of book services, sound vision, audio visual, thousands of like service organizations. Okay, now, so what's next? Now here we are a community. We are not individuals anymore. We're not few groups here and few groups here. It is actually hard to go somewhere and do not encounter a Muslim. Okay, unless you don't want it, you make yourself. Okay. Yeah, and unless you are in this denial, okay. And hopefully it's something that's like a shaitan was with that time, okay, and just you kick the shaitan the next hour, okay. But whenever you go, okay, by the way, whenever you go, there's some Muslims seeing you, okay, be careful. But of course, there's the real thing is Allah seeing you, okay, it's not some Muslim, okay. But again, look, there's some Muslim and gives you strength, okay. Kind of you are like anyone is weak by himself or herself, and there's another person. Hopefully, this another person is kind of that gives you some help, okay. And even if this person is weak, when you approach this person and try to bring him, and you feel a little bit more stronger, and this person kind of probably get a little bit stronger, and then you help each other. Okay. So now, if we want to define some of the challenges, again, here's the challenges of the future. What do you think? Some of our challenges of the future some of kind of goals that we need to achieve. Position of leadership.
Dispelling misconceptions.
Okay.
Gaining a voice.
Now, now again, I need to ask about the time to know how
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, good. Now let us. Okay, there are two like actually more than two actually things that were. They are related. The things that you said are related. Okay. So how can we gain voice? How can we be in a better position or decision-making position itself, etc. And how can we? What do we mean by becoming united? This is a very interesting idea. What does it mean? Like in more detail, more. Mm-hmm.
Stop fragmenting ourselves within the community. I mean, yeah, we have a one Muslim community, but when it comes to the social scale, we fragment ourselves.
Okay.
We don't see each other as the same. And we like need to get rid of that. Like sometimes people they don't like I don't know. Sometimes people view each other on the same level. We need to get rid of that.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I guess I was going to say that we got to stop thinking as Muslims from different countries and think more like Muslims from America. Be more united in that kind of stuff. Going back to the old.
Okay. So not enlivening our kind of old ethnic loyalties and okay, and face our own reality. Okay, but okay, does that mean that you should not maintain anything from your background?
It doesn't mean that you don't maintain it.
Sorry.
It doesn't mean that you don't maintain whatever is part of your ethnic background. No, it's just, there's two different identities. There's your ethnic and then there's your Islamic. And Islamic takes priority over that. And we're all part of one Islamic background. So why should it matter where you're from?
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, but I have more on that, but let me take, yes.
Oh, well, I was going to go back to like, the whole nationalism thing. I feel like since you're talking about different generations, like the nationalism comes from our parents' generation, like especially if your parents are immigrants, like we're kind of taught that by our parents, you know what I mean? Like it's something that comes down from that generation, so something that we should stop from that generation.
Okay, so do we consider, okay, so are these bad things?
Well, okay, like what I'm saying is like, for like marriage, for example, like someone will ask you like, oh, you're like, are you engaged? Like, oh, like who? Like if it's from a different ethnicity, you're, like someone's first reaction is, oh, your parents are okay with that. Like that's the first reaction. You know what I mean?
Okay,
and, like,
now yeah, this is
like, are they good Muslims?
this is a topic that can take hours. But let me just for the sake of argument. Okay, well, shouldn't the parents have some like with somebody to kind of appreciate their culture? Like again, like why is that is badness?
Okay, going back to uniting. Like I'm not saying that's a whole different discussion, like you're saying, but even within the same nationality, there's okay, they're from this place, or from this place, or from this place. It's not like one unified Islamic thing. Like even within the same nationality.
Okay, I'll come to that in a minute, but yeah, yes.
I think the point is that we don't seem to want the same as we want ourselves from Muslim sisters and brothers.
Okay.
Another interesting thing that I noticed is that even in the context of like backlash country, like it's not realized. It's only when you get diversity do you see this nationalism come out. And it's kind of dangerous because it's one of those sneaky things that separate people into little groups.
So okay, so what I
You don't realize it's the differences are presented in front of you, which is kind of like, yeah.
See, again, this is a whole topic that can take a whole hour. And probably we should make it we should discuss it at some time. But what I suggest that at this point that we need to feel comfortable with our diversity instead of trying to erase our diversity. Okay. However, and this is probably I should have said this however before. Okay. We need to have our master identity, so to speak, as they say in psychology. Master identity is an Islamic identity. And to make the ethnic things are just holders, are just expression. But the basic identity is an Islamic identity. And the problem is that now we have sometimes the opposite. You will find it is a whatever identity, whatever Palestinian identity, or Egyptian identity, or Pakistani identity, and even like a part of Pakistan. This is the identity, and this is the center of the world. And the world rotate around this axle. And then they express their ethnicity through Islamic vehicle or through Islamic holders. And to them, look, this is Islamic, isn't it Islamic? Well, yes, but it's kind of no, okay? Because kind of you are inverting the priorities, okay? So what we need to this is the big challenge, by the way, is that to kind of, not to make the reversal, but to kind of clarify what is the main route and what is the periphery, the side streets, okay? So the basis should be Islamic. And once you say the bases are Islamic, that's clear cut. There's no differences. And then we can allow for different expressions, for different colors, for different hijab types, for different foods, and these become our diversity become richness. Do you see the difference? Now, but if you have okay, no, look, I'm from Syria, right? And Middle East, we have falafel. Okay, and I say that I do not have a Falafian person identity, and it's a big problem if I have a Falafian identity. Although I like to get falafel every once in a while. Okay, do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Or as brother, do you know brother and he likes poet brother Reif, he says I am a Homo sapien, not Homo sapien, something like that. Okay, so it is a problem if you see yourself. Okay, if you are centered around your, whether it is baklava or whether around your whatever this is the problem. Okay, and again, if you are really confident in your principles. Okay, when we say Islam, what's Islam? And again, Islam is not like kind of a closed religion. It is just a religion for us. Okay, it's Allah, the God of all creators. Look, what do we start our prayer with? Ya Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Then the first verse is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Do we say Rabbil Alameen or Rabbil Muslimin? Alhamdulillah, thanks go God, the Lord of the universe. Not our God, simply our God. So we do not have a national God that we monopolize. Okay? And the good values are values of the whole, like the whole, all promise came with the same value. Right? It's a كما وصى إبراهيم in the Quran said that what we have enjoined on you, Prophet Muhammad, is the same that we sent to Moses, Isa, Noah, etc., etc., etc. So this gives us kind of the basis of universality, because there is one humanity. كلكم لآدم وآدم من تراب. All of you from Adam, and Adam is from dust. So we are equal in humanity. Okay. And the last, what was the last, one of the last sentences that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said in this farewell speech, farewell khutbah? It is exactly this one. لا فرق بين عربي. There is no difference between Arab and non-Arab, white, black, yellow, and invoke this, like, as if like Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was feeling that he is what? He is living the, he had the feeling that he is living the life. And he was what? Giving the last, okay. It's like the older father that giving advices to his children at the time of his children. Make sure this and this and this. Okay. But this father, this Prophet Muhammad, was not telling about personal things like a father in a family, like telling us things for the whole Muslim family. Watch this and this and this. Right? And exactly this, okay? You are solidly, what? Based, solidly immersed, solidly with Islam. And again here, when I say Islam, it means the values of Islam, not a simple ideology that is, again, it is us. And when you absorb this Islam, you connect with all humanity. Immediately, when you are Muslim, immediately you will have 1.5 billion person on your Facebook thing, right? You are obliged. You are obliged. There are obligations. And if you have the capability, and some of these 1.5 billion, one person asks you something, and if you have the means to do that, you are obliged to do that. And then, if the rest of the humanity, the rest of the 6 billion, also ask you, okay, then also you are obliged to do that on but a level like a different kind of a different code. You see, like there's in law there's different code, okay, okay. You are obliged to help according to a different criteria because they are human beings, and the person was obliged to what? To give a drink to a dog, to a thirsty dog in the desert. So how cannot you do what the negatives? Give a help and extend a hand for another brother or sister in humanity. Okay. So again, here's the idea: when you root yourself or establish yourself with the values of Islam, and now I'm not saying with Islam, so you do not understanding as if it's kind of a belonging to a club called Islam. No, it's not belonging to a club. It's absorbing, okay, absorbing the values in Islam and being in sync with your cells, because the cells in your body are Muslim. Okay, they submit to a law. Okay, they follow a created law. Okay, and if you mess with this law, your body would ache. Okay. You become in sync with the universe because the universe follows a law that was created by Allah. So you will be, when you become, again, when I'm saying, when you base yourself solidly in Islam, then you will become in sync with people who have straight vision. Yes, we give priority for Muslims, or we do not lie, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because they are not confused. Because they have a direction. Because they have a qibla. You know what qibla means? Qibla, it doesn't mean the Kaaba, just the four. Qibla means direction. We have direction. Okay? And we have direction symbolically every time we pray. Which way we pray? Okay, this way. And we have direction, we have a compass, we have a GPS in our mind all the time. We cannot be lost. We know our qibla. Okay. So yes, we connect more with our fellow Muslims because of they have the potential, a better potential of a person who doesn't know anything, okay, or who think that a stone can bring him, okay, or bring him something, okay, or who think that all kind of myths, okay. There's a modern myth and old myth, okay. So again, so once you this I'm repeating for the 5th or 10th time, okay? Once you really establish yourself solidly with Islam, then whatever expression that comes up, these are the surface colors. And it's good to keep these colors. We do not want one color, one Muslim, one color. Okay. It's nice, okay, to have variety. And these diversity becomes richness. And it becomes actually a what? A source of innovation, a source of like we are, and that's what our civilization. Like look, our civilization, like even the mosques themselves, okay? The mosques, the architecture of the mosques. You would say, well, now, do the architecture of the mosques in the Muslim world are similar to what the mosque looked at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Was it an Arabian mosque with this? We have all kind of, like, okay, you have what? You have well, you have the Qudus beautiful mosque. You have the Umayyad mosque. You have the Moroccan style, the Andalus style, the Andalusi style. You go east, you have like north a little bit the Turkish style. And you go further, there is well the Indian like the subcontinent, okay, and there's variation within the subcontinent. You go a little bit even north towards Afghanistan, still it differs, the style is different, and almost, and you pray on all of them, and you feel humility and khushu', and you feel hope. Probably it is time.
You got 5 minutes, so any last questions if you want to take?
Okay, so yes, there was. Sorry, there was.
I was kind of asking about this because there's some scholars like, for example, like Tariq Ramadan, who would kind of disagree with you on the sense that he would say that there's no contradiction in being a Muslim and a European in this world, or like an American or something. And that's what, so he would say there's no problem. You could be both. And so, I mean, it would be interesting to listen to you.
Yeah. Well, I hope I did not, like, what I said does not suggest, I didn't suggest that there is a contradiction.
Right.
And actually,
in the sense that there is, like, he is against this idea that like the whole question of what I'm first, like he says, that that's not the right question. Like he would say that there's, I mean, it's like, like when you're a poet or something, you're not asking that, are you a Muslim first? I'm just a poet at that time. But if I go out to the mosque, I'm a Muslim first. So the thing is, what am I first or not? Like he's against this whole idea.
Yeah,
so
I read Tariq, by the way, and I think he has a rational discourse. I don't disagree on the general idea of Tariq, although I sometimes disagree with some details. But look, here it comes whom you are talking, whom you are addressing. Okay, some people are sticking to their really little habits and back home habits, and they consider this is the Islam. And actually, even if they are kind of, they have some problems from an Islamic point of view, and still they cling to that. So most of what Tariq addresses is that attitude, okay? And you need to consider, like Europe has a little bit different social base. Muslim in Europe have a different social base than we have here. A little bit more modest than us. Okay. And this is a long story, a little bit, so I don't want to, I like to give justice to the topic. It's my specialty, and actually I wrote about it and lectured a lot about it, and probably it could be a topic for the next time, inshallah. I would be happy to share that with you, and even Allahu A'lam, probably I will be writing a book on that matter. Yeah, but okay, let me to make it clear. The general thrust of Tariq Ramadan, I have no problem, okay? As we do not define ourselves in terms of ethnicities or nationalities. We are larger from that, okay? Why do you want to close yourself to ethnicity while you have you have a passport called the Ummah passport? Like it's inconceivable to shrink, to reduce yourself to a little British culture. Okay, and this reductionism doesn't end, because you start, I am whatever, I am Syrian, then I'm not Syrian, I am Damascus, then I'm not Damascus. No, I am from this neighborhood. And I do have sensibility. I like the neighborhood that I've been raised in. And it is natural for everybody to like the place where he or she was raised. Otherwise, this person would be kind of disturbed psychologically. Okay, it's nice, and even people who were were raised in a really hard place where we look at how can you enjoy. It's very hard environment still. The memories of the childhood, Okay, it's great. Usual. Okay, so again, so it's to reduce yourself to that. It's counterproductive. It doesn't because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so thank you very much for coming. I hope that we kind of covered some ideas, and even probably refreshed someone, like you know everything, okay? Just to refresh some of your ideas, okay? And probably sometime we can go in specifically to the idea of integration and identity and multiple identities, and I think this is a needed, actually, it's a needed a discussion, okay? And we can, there's probably with the assist of some PowerPoint, even it makes it easier. And jazakumullah khair.